Howdy, I'm Wayne Schirner from the Bell County Master Gardener Association, and in this short video we're going to talk about one way to build a grow light stand. There are numerous ways to do that, and this is just one way. In order to build the grow light stand, you'll need a light, at least one light. You'll need the stand, you'll need a timer, you'll need some trays and inserts, and an optional item is a heating pad. Choose your light first. They come in various lengths. For my stand, I chose lights that were 4 feet long. You can get lights that are longer and shorter. In some of the newer LED lights, they're even a square shape, 24 inches by 24 inches or bigger or smaller. And so there's a wide variety, but the way you build your stand is going to depend upon what light you use. So select your light first. There are lots of options, but you don't need to make it too complicated. In the fluorescent world, there are a variety of different bulb sizes. There's T5, there's T8, there's T12, which are the typical shop lights. What you're looking for is something that has the full light spectrum. Plants grow based at different plants grow in different ways depending upon the light spectrum. Some plants do best in the blue light spectrum. Some plants do best in the red light spectrum. And those two spectrums are at opposite ends of the color spectrum. And so really the most cost-effective thing is to try to get a full spectrum light. The other thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is the amount of brightness. For fluorescent lights, that's measured in lumens, and you want to get something that's as bright as you can get it. At least 2,000 lumens, greater than 3,000 lumens is even better. When you're dealing with LED lights, they use something called PAR. And so if you're going to get LED lights, you need to do a little bit of investigation as to what the best PAR, P-A-R, is for what you're trying to grow. And again, I'm trying to grow lots of vegetables is what I primarily grow, and I don't want to have one station for things that do better in blue lights and another station for things that do better in red lights. I want to have a full spectrum light. Now, for my stand, I chose a light that uses T5 bulbs. They're thin. They don't put out as much heat as some of the bigger bulbs. And you can get these in either the fluorescent style, which is what this is, but they also come in an LED style. And the LED lights are very cool and don't put off any heat. And so, again, it's your choice. Keep in mind that LED lights are typically going to be more expensive, but in the long run, the operating costs are going to be much less. And so, it's perfectly fine to choose what you want to do based upon the initial costs up front that you're willing to put out. The stand can be made from a variety of materials. I happen to do shelving that's a commercial product where the shelves are actually about 4 feet long, and I built this for a single grow light station. You can get shelving that is 6 foot tall with multiple shelves. At the big box stores, you can get a 6-shelf unit for around $70. And so there's lots of options. You can get a stand that has wheels on it if that's important, if you need to have it be mobile. My stand, I just have feet on them that are levelers, and so I can adjust if I'm on an uneven surface, why I can adjust those in order to provide the the height you want. The light, when you're operating, is typically going to be 2 to 4 inches above the height of the plants that are growing. And so I selected a feature on the lower shelf that will slide out. And so I can slide it out, so that makes it easier for me to water plants without having to tilt my light up and mess with that. And so again, that's an option. You don't have to do that. Your choice. The other thing with the stand is you want to have some mechanism to raise and lower the light. It can be as simple as a chain with some S-hooks that you adjust at different levels. What I use is something that I purchased from a garden supply store, and I can actually raise or lower the light as necessary to get whatever height I want. And so again, I just do it with both sides. And again, when I'm growing plants, I want them to be at roughly where the light is roughly 2 to 4 inches above the tops of the growing plants. The next thing you need is some sort of a timer. It can be a simple timer such as this, that you plug into an electrical outlet, you plug the light into that, and it's got a dial that you can set for the time of day, and you set the green light when you want the green peg when you want the light to come on, the red peg when you want the light to go off. Typically, most grow stations you're going to want to run for roughly 16 hours. And so you don't want to be having to remember to get up in the middle of the night to go out and shut your light off. So that's a single station that just has one outlet. So the light is the only thing that needs to be timed. And so that works great. If you build a stand that has multiple stations, you can get something like this. This has a total of 8 outlets. These 4 operate on the timer that you set. These 4 are untimed, so that if you're using heating pads, you use the untimed outlets, and for the light, you use the timed outlets. The caps on this rotate so that you can, if you've got one that's not in use, you can close it so that insects and things like that can't get into the electrical outlets. The next thing you need are some sort of a tray. I actually forgot to bring my trays, but these are tray stabilizers for 1020 trays, which are a typical tray growing size. So I would put in here a tray that has a solid bottom so that water doesn't run out of it or anything like that. And then within the tray, you can use the inserts that you put your potting, your soil mix in, your potting mix, and you plant your plants. And there's a wide variety of inserts. You can have some inserts that are individual, like these 4-inch ones. You can have 6-packs. You can have inserts that fill the entire tray where you can plant up to, I think typical is 20 plants that are small, and those are designed for plants that you're going to start in a small size and then either transplant into the garden or upplant into a bigger size pot for later transplantation. So again, wide variety of trays available. They don't have to be the 1020, but I find that to be a convenient size. And again, this a 1020 is going to hold 18 plants, 3 by 6. So again, lots of variety, lots of options. Many times if you buy plants, you can get a tray that comes with it, and so you don't even have to purchase the trays. An optional item is a heating pad. Now, most of the heating pads are, again, designed to be the size of a 10-20 tray, and it will fit underneath the tray. Now, if you just plug this directly into an outlet, you have no control over the temperature. And seed germination typically occurs best in the 70 to 75 degree range. There's some variation from that, but that's a common size. And you don't want to, and if it gets too hot, you'll have temperatures that can be up to 100 degrees, and you won't get any germination. And so it's best, if you're using a heating mat to use a thermostat. Now, again, this is an example of one thermostat. The heating pad would plug into the bottom here. This would plug into your untimed outlet, and this probe would go into one of your soils. You don't have to have something in every one. Just I tend to pick one that's roughly in the middle, but I can set the temperature that I want this my heating pad to remain at. And so they all come with directions. They're easy to set up, and that allows you to keep the control of your heating pad at a constant level. Once your seeds have germinated, turn off your heating pad. Plants, even though they germinate best in the temperature range between 70 and 75, they don't necessarily grow best at that range. And so you're only using the heating pad to get them to germinate more quickly. And you can significantly reduce the amount of time for germination by having a heating pad. And my grow station I have in my garage during the winter months, so when I'm trying to get some cool season crops like lettuce started, the temperature in my garage which is unheated, is about 60 degrees. But with a heating pad, I can get the soil temperatures up to about 70 degrees without any problems and get them started. And then again, once they're started, I shut off the heat and they'll grow fine in those cooler temperatures. So again, if you get a heating pad, I recommend that you get a thermostat that goes along with that to make it a lot easier. So that concludes my demonstration of one way to do a grow station. You don't have to use metal stands. You can if you've got a single grow station, you can use PVC. You can build a frame out of PVC and suspend your light from that. But again, lots of ways. You don't have to have something fancy to suspend the light. If you didn't have a fixed level tray, if all you had were the trays like this that were under your light, you could start your light up high and then put blocks or something like that would support the tray up under the light. And then as the plants grow, you take some of those blocks or bricks or whatever out to allow it to be lower down. And again, I personally find it easier to be able to raise and lower the light to the height I want rather than messing with the grow trays to vary the height at that level. So if you have any questions about this, why, feel free to get in touch with the Bell County Master Gardener Association Help Desk, and you can contact them by either phone or by email, and we can provide a link to that at the end of this presentation, so that and then they can get in touch with me, and I can contact you, and I can give you more information. But again, lots of ways to do it. This is just one way. Unheated is about 60 degrees, but with a heating pad, I can get the soil temperatures up to about 70 degrees without any problems and get them started. And then again, once they're started, I shut off the heat and they'll grow fine in those cooler temperatures. So again, if you get a heating pad, I recommend that you get a thermostat that goes along with that to make it a lot easier. So that concludes my demonstration of one way to do a grow station. You don't have to use metal stands. You can if you've got a single grow station, you can use PVC. You can build a frame out of PVC and suspend your light from that. But again, lots of ways. You don't have to have something fancy to suspend the light. If you didn't have a fixed level tray, if all you had were the trays like this that were under your light, you could start your light up high and then put blocks or something like that would support the tray up under the light. And then as the plants grow, you take some of those blocks or bricks or whatever out to allow it to be lower down. And again, I personally find it easier to be able to raise and lower the light to the height I want, rather than messing with the grow trays to vary the height at that level. So if you have any questions about this, why, feel free to get in touch with the Bell County Master Gardener Association Help Desk, and you can contact them by either phone or by email, and we can provide a link to that at the end of this presentation, so that and then they can get in touch with me, and I can contact you, and I can give you more information. But again, lots of ways to do it. This is just one way.